It wasn't muted. Good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. Just live recorded. We're going to talk about some Binance news today. Binance is actually, I guess, the SEC or the US in general is seeking like $4 billion from Binance just to like kind of settle things. Kraken gets sued again, which is kind of interesting. And yeah, a little bit of a dip in Kaspa, but really not too bad. Everybody's like making it like it's a big deal. Dan R, I love my glasses and eat shit, okay? Don't give me crap. I'm just kidding. I know, I actually put them on my head because they were all, I have stuff all over my desk. I don't know if you guys know, the last couple days I've been messing with these KS zeros and there's stuff everywhere in here. So yes, Max, all right, we're gonna have to play this for Max because he was doing a live stream last night kind of shitting on Kaspa, and this became a new soundboard bite on my soundboard.
This hash rate's going bonkers.
Love it. I love it. I know you guys could hear that, couldn't you? Let's see who's in the chat and then we'll go from there. Mr. DJ Mines, good to see you. We got Chris Hanley, Crypto KJ, Overboard Tech. What's up, buddy? Man, Max was first actually in the chat today. Steven Cicero, good morning. Good morning. Kyle Rosa, Jim C, Dom G, Team JFK. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Jason Hamilton, Taines, my man. Andrew Masad. All right, guys, let's get into this because I started a bit late today. So we're going to get into the market. Let's see what we're looking like. BTC 37,230. We have Ethereum holding over 2,000 bucks again. Dogecoin is at 7 cents. We have Solana down 7.11%, $56. Let's see. So Kaspa still holding over 12.5 cents, which is pretty insane, if I do say so myself. I'm happy that it's still holding up that high. We have LTC at 71 bucks. Shiba, does anybody care about Shiba? Let's be real. Let's check out the crypto bubbles over here. So on the week, we're gonna be looking at Kaspa 48.4%. We have this Teo, the Bitensor, 76.9% up. Near is up 25.6%. Render's up 57.5. Let's check the day real quick. Look at this. Oh geez, what's this one? Pyth Network, did I say that? 38.1% down. Man, Kaspa took a little bit of a dump. 8.9%. 80, that'd be terrible. FTT is down 9.6%. We have EHEX, whatever EHEX is, 11.2%. And yeah, this Bitensor is down 16.3%. But overall, I mean, it's what you guys want it to go up forever. I do, but it can't, unfortunately. All right, let's check out the Fear and Greed Index. We're looking like 71 over here on the greed. Again, it's getting there, but it's still in the kind of neutral. It's just kind of breaking out of the neutral territory for me anyways. When it gets like, you know, closer to 80, that's when, you know, really start considering getting rid of some of your holdings and just wait for another dip type deal. Let's see. We have top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, XRP, USDC, Solana, Lido Staked Ether, Cardano, and Dogecoin. Let's go down and check out Litecoin, still in 18th. We have Shiba in 20th. I know Toncoin actually had a decent pump the last couple days, if I'm not mistaken. We have Bitcoin Cash is in 21st. So let's see where Kaspa is. Kaspa is back below Ethereum and Monero, but it's a tight race between the two. It's a tight race. Why? Oh, hold on. Why does that look? That looks weird. There we go. Tight race between the two. Here we go. You can see it now. $2 billion market cap, right? $2 billion here. Wow, this is literally by like 10 million they're off. And this one's, you know, got about, I don't know, almost 3 million on Kaspa, but it did flip up to here, 27th place the other day. So is what it is. And again, as Max says,
this hash rate's going bonkers.
We're gonna check out the let's go over here to mine the ASIC, all the ASIC miners, see what they're pulling for the day. We have $269 on the wind miner K9. This is the most profitable miner as of right now. We have the Ice River KS3 looking like 207 bucks a day. KS3M is pulling 153 bucks a day. If you guys, man, you know, see, like this, buying these two models, like I don't even think I would buy this M ever. I just don't think it's worth it, to be honest. It's so much less efficient, less terahashes. I understand it's cheaper, but I don't know. How do you guys feel about the KS3M? Let me know in the chat. We have the KS2, which is $50 a day. The KS1's $25 a day. And you can see the KS0 Pro down here is still at $5.14 per day. Let's see, the Jazz Miner. Let's see. X4Q is making $1.63 a day. Where's the X16? Right here. X16Q is making $5.90 a day, mining ETH, F, and ZIL. Not a huge fan of ETH, F, but is what it is. Yeah, bonker. That was a perfect soundbite. Mr. Geek of all trades. I got to give him credit for that because he sent it to me, but Mr. Steven Cicero, I believe, clipped it. So I appreciate you both because it made my morning. Made my morning for sure. All right, let's check out the prices quick over on Ice River. I just want to see what things look like. Again, if you guys are interested, not trying to shill anything, I don't really care what you do. But just remember, if you guys do order from Ice River right now, anything in this area is going to be like December batch. So just keep that in mind. I don't want you guys to like think you're going to get it next week. You know what I mean? So just be wary. Prices don't look like they've moved though, which is kind of interesting. Kind of still the same. I haven't seen this number change at all, to be honest. I know the resellers are a bit higher, but they include taxes and tariffs and all that. So anyways, all right, let's get into the news of the day. I know I'm just kind of trying to get through this today. Started a little bit late, so I apologize for that. All right, Binance news. U.S. seeks more than $4 billion from Binance to end criminal case, Bloomberg News reports. So I don't know. The U.S. Justice Department seeking more than $4 billion from Binance Holdings as part of a proposal resolution of a years-long investigation. Negotiations between the Justice Department and Binance include the possibility that the crypto exchange's founder, CZ, would face criminal charges in the U.S., the report said. As you guys know, they're kind of... Binance is, I don't know. I feel like they're a little sketchy. I don't know what it is, but something's going on with them. The U.S., though, they're suing everybody. Everybody, any kind of exchange is getting sued. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing anything right, doing anything wrong. There's going to be a video we're going to watch real quick where the guy kind of rips into this a little bit, so I don't want to read too much of it. But the interesting thing here was I was kind of like digging around, and this is the reason I was going a little late, and then obviously my GoXLR was giving me shit. But Binance here, it says $3.9 billion USDT moved gains community attention amid the DOJ settlement claims. So Binance transferred $3.9 billion in USDT between its wallets, like days before the report about the $4 billion settlement with the United States Justice Department. That's kind of crazy that we didn't hear anything about it, and they're already like moving it silently to kind of settle this. Do you think that was to settle it? I'm not really positive if it was or not. I mean, it's kind of it's pretty what's the word I'm looking for? God, somebody pointed out in the chat. I can't even think of the word right now, but it's just weird. It's weird that is it's a coincidence, right? It's kind of the coincidence that would happen, and then they just get, you know, sued for $4 billion, whatever it is. Extortion. Yeah, extortion. Perfect. Thanks, Patrick Murphy. Crypto community members on X, formerly Twitter, have turned... Why? Like, it's so stupid. Like, you just keep it Twitter. Like, why do you... Every article has to say this. Formerly Twitter have turned their focus to a $3.9 billion Tether transaction between Binance wallets that surfaced on social media following reports claiming the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ, is negotiating a $4 billion settlement with the company, which is kind of freaking nuts, man. It's kind of nuts. And then on top of that, we have right here, crypto community response to Kraken lawsuit. Deaton slams dishonorable Gensler. The crypto community, including prominent industry lawyers and the U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis, is sounding off about the new lawsuit filed by the U.S. SEC against crypto exchange Kraken, which is messed up because they just paid them like $30 million as like okay, leave me alone, here you go, right? Like it's just it's so messed up. Real quick, the lawsuit filed on November 20th is based on the SEC's allegations that Kraken has been operating as an unregistered exchange broker dealer and clearing agent, and claims that it mixes customers' assets with its own. Since the news broke, the crypto community on social media, Kraken executives and prominent lawyers have been vocal in expressing their views on the SEC's action. Kraken's founder, Jesse Powell, called the action an assault on America and called the SEC the U.S.'s top decel. Powell even warned other companies to depart the country. That's fucked up. That's messed up. that's actually kind of messed up. I didn't read the whole thing. We strongly disagree with the SEC's claims, stand firm in our view that we do not list securities and plan to vigorously defend our position. This is one of the representatives over at Kraken. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird, man. They paid, oh, right here. Gary Gensler is a despicable and dishonorable regulator. He knew that Kraken believed it was buying a piece rather for the $30 million, right? And that's exactly what I would have thought too. Like, okay, I'm gonna pay you this $30 million and we're gonna be cool. Oh shit, I didn't mean to click on that. But it's just, it's absurd. It's absurd how much I don't know how they just keep going after these exchanges. I don't know. This guy just needs to get fired. But anyways, let's get into this. I'm sorry, I'll be reading the chat in just a second. I want to come over here to Thinking Crypto. This guy's got a lot of subs, actually. I put his link down in the description below. If you guys are interested, feel free to go check him out. But he talks about this a little bit, so I kind of want to get into this and just hear what he has to say about it. So we might not watch the whole thing, but let's do it. If you guys got any questions, please just at me in the chat. Let's do it.
The big news of the day, which I'm sure many of you heard, the U.S. Justice Department is seeking over $4 billion from Binance to wrap up the case against them. Folks, this is bullish news in my opinion, because it would be a resolution to a long-standing issue and problem for the market.
And I just noticed I did spell Kraken in the title wrong. What an idiot. My bad. I got to fix that right now.
That has a lot of implications. You know, if Binance was to collapse or the governments were to shut down Binance, it would be pretty detrimental to the crypto market. So the fact that the US is offering this settlement option is bullish in my opinion, ahead of the bull market that's coming up. The Bitcoin halving is next year. And Binance, look, $4 billion, I think, is a drop in the bucket for them. I don't know if they'll actually pay that amount or they will negotiate and reduce that fee. But if I was Binance, I would probably want to get this settled and done with, pay it, and get the US government off my back and move forward. Binance is the world's largest crypto exchange, so they'll make this money back very easily in the next bull market. Obviously, the details of the settlement is important, that they're not going to get sued again and whatever else, right? But very interesting news. We have not heard from Binance or CZ on this news yet, but everybody in the market is seeing this as a positive. Here, Mike Novogratz tweeted out, Binance settling with the US regulators would be super bullish. Not sure if reports are true, but I personally am hoping for a settlement and for the industry to move forward. So Bloomberg confirmed that this is indeed a situation that's happening. Obviously, once again, we need Binance to confirm it. But folks, as Mike says, it is bullish because this situation is a risky situation. And once again, a collapse would be pretty detrimental for the market. And the bears would love it, right? It could send the price going down. It could break bullish momentum. So the fact that we are in an upward trend and the bull market is starting next year, the Bitcoin halving, in my opinion, and you have a resolution like this, it would be pretty incredible. In fact, I tweeted out, this is one of the catalysts that could really be very bullish for the market. The first being the SEC approves multiple Bitcoin spot ETFs. The second is Binance settles with the US government. Number three, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, gets sentenced. So this brings closure to a major reputation hit to the industry, and Coinbase beats the SEC in court. That, you know, these items would be incredibly bullish.
Yeah, that would be amazing, actually. So obviously SBF already got sentenced. We have Binance, which is going through that process right now, hopefully. But you know what scares me now? That if Binance settles with the US government in this $4 billion freaking case or whatever it is, the fact that they're going back after Kraken after they already collected $30 million from them, that really pisses me off. That's not right, to be honest. Let me see. Oh, he does get into that.
For the market. Now, speaking of the SEC and scumbag regulator Gary Gensler, the SEC is suing Kraken Exchange once again. And remember, folks, when Kraken first settled with the SEC, it was for $30 million and they had to close their US staking operation. You know, at the time I stated Kraken should have fought. They should have fought back. Instead, they kowtowed, and look now, the SEC is back for another pound of flesh, folks. The SEC sense weakness, and they're going to keep coming back to this well to shake down Kraken for money. It's pathetic what Gary Gensler and the SEC are doing. They're trying to drive these crypto startups into the dirt. They're trying to kill them so that the Wall Street buddies, BlackRock and Citadel, Fidelity, and all these guys can come in and take over. It's pretty clear, right? You see these two things happening in parallel, and you put one and one together here, folks. It's you see the agenda, right? And here's
it's messed up. It's messed up that this is all happening right before the ETFs as well, right? It's like anything to like make crypto look bad. That's what they're trying to do. Gary just wants to collect as much Bitcoin as he can. That's the thing.
Details of this case. So the SEC alleges that 1, Kraken failed to register as a national securities exchange. 2, Kraken failed to register as a broker-dealer. 3, Kraken failed to register as a clearinghouse. The SEC further alleges that Kraken's business creates heightened risk for customers, including commingling customer assets with its own fiat holdings. Now, what James Seyffert of Bloomberg said is that this is a carbon copy of the Coinbase lawsuit. It's very similar. So the SEC just control C, right? They did a control C and just sent it to Kraken, find and replace for Coinbase to Kraken. And here James said, notably, there's another list of digital assets that the SEC is seeking to be securities. There's 16 cryptos explicitly listed here, including Solana, Cardano, and Algorand. So
that's messed up. Mr. Dan R, appreciate you, buddy. Perfect. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I took the glasses off my head for you. It's going great. Thanks, buddy.
Notice that XRP is not listed and Ethereum is not listed.
Ooh, that's interesting, actually. XRP is not listed, nor is Ethereum. Ooh, that's interesting. But Solana is. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks because Solana's trying to do things. Matic's trying to do things. That's yeah. How do you guys feel about that? But that's neat. That's neat that XRP and Ethereum is not listed. That means, you know, the Ethereum ETF most likely going to happen. And XRP, yeah, I think they just gave up on that one.
Very interesting, right? We know Bitcoin, they've said it's a commodity. We know XRP won the lawsuit. Ethereum is still hanging in the air because Gary Gensler refuses to reiterate the statements of Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton from the past. So it's interesting the moves the SEC is doing here, folks, but we got to keep fighting. Scumbag regulator Gary Gensler is not giving up here, clearly, right? And I hope that Coinbase destroys Gary Gensler and the SEC in court, and which they will. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how that goes. But all right, I'm going to move on. Huge shout out to Thinking Crypto. Now let's get on to this. So actually, yeah, we'll start here, I guess. Crypto is in the early innings of a bull market, says Brian Kelly. And you know what? We kind of talked about this a little bit on Misfit Mining Saturday Night Live, where we were just kind of like, do you think the bull run's here? Personally, I think I'm getting the sediment feelings that like it is starting to come back, but I'm not 100% positive. That's kind of why we all, you know, chatted about it. But I want to see what this guy has to say. I didn't have a chance to listen to the whole thing. I listened to a little bit, but let's get into it. See what he says.
Bitcoin prices now more than double where they began the year, and our next guest says we're just in the early innings of a new crypto bull market. Let's welcome a very special
I'm not sure I understand the clapping. Who is this guy?
Brian Kelly.
Yes. It's great to be here.
I know.
Great
I don't
to
know.
be back.
What's new, BK?
Maybe I do.
What's new? What's new? Yeah, I mean,
the audience. But you've been operating your Bitcoin fund still.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep. Still.
It kind of sounds like Max.
This hash rate's going bonkers.
Still involved in Bitcoin every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never stops. But it's been an interesting year. You know, I mean, in the last year, we've gone from everything from FTX to now all of a sudden Argentina potentially, you know, they've elected a pro-Bitcoin president. So the momentum and sentiment has changed dramatically in that market.
And then not to mention all the potential Bitcoin ETF filings that are still in the wings here.
Right.
So where do you see, you know, you don't have a price target necessarily on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But what are you thinking in terms of where you are now?
So there's a couple things. We know in the past that Bitcoin has had these 2-year cycles that are generally centered around the halvening. And so we have another halvening coming up in April.
Oh, he's one of them. Halvening. He's one of them. He's one of them.
People that thinks the halvening is the actual catalyst, but it's one of those sentiment things that all of a sudden now you have a reduction in supply. Couple that with the fact that we have the Federal Reserve that is likely done for some time being of raising rates. If not, we don't think they're going to go to 10%. Maybe they go to 5.5%, right? And then the second part of that is we now have these ETF filings. So for the first time ever, just like the gold ETF, you're going to have retail investors, not that they couldn't buy it before, but now registered investment advisors, your Morgan Stanley wealth manager can allocate to this. And so that's what's got the market excited about this new ETF.
All right, Beeks, you just named a bunch of catalysts for the Bitcoin to keep going higher. What do you think the core is? Is it just digital gold, versus, like, we often hear lots of folks come on and just say they should be allocated to that. We've had the dollar come in, and obviously Bitcoin has been trading pretty well with that. What's the core thesis right now? If you've missed out.
Pains, get out. Just get out. Get out. Go somewhere else.
Out this run over the last year, and sentiment was really bad a year ago at this time, and now it's up, 200% or so. Why should people be allocating low single digits percentage of their investable capital to Bitcoin right now?
So I think the easiest way to think about it is digital gold. If you have a portfolio and you've got some of it that you want allocated to gold, and let's call that for inflation reasons, you're worried about the dollar or whatever your currency is going lower, you want to have some kind of hedge against that. So you could do gold or you can do Bitcoin. And I would argue that Bitcoin is a better use case than gold, because I can't use gold on the internet. I can use Bitcoin on the internet. So simply look at it. Bitcoin's a $700 billion market cap right now. All the gold that's ever mined is worth somewhere around 7-8 trillion. So if Bitcoin
also speaking of like the whole gold Bitcoin thing, who was that guy that said it like perfectly? He's like, I know that if I go up and mine on an asteroid, I'll find gold, or I could find gold, but I know for a fact I'll never go up there and find any Bitcoin. And it's like, it's so true, right? It's so true. So comparing the two is kind of, I get the whole value thing and like the whole flight to just quality, saving your money and stuff, like it makes sense, but you got to think of it like that. Bitcoin's way more scarce than gold is.
Can take some market share from gold, which I think it's doing, then the multiple return from there, why couldn't it be 5x from here? Why couldn't it be 10x from here? Those are crazy big numbers, but if it starts to make market share just like any other kind of business would out there, that is what starts driving up the market cap.
If inflation reaccelerates, does that throw a monkey wrench into the Bitcoin?
Holy shit, that guy's got the pointiest ear I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
Story.
I don't think so. It depends on how, if inflation expectations reaccelerate. So what we saw, everybody says, it's, hey, BK, Bitcoin wasn't a great hedge against inflation. And my response to that is, well, you only bought Bitcoin when you needed it. As soon as the Fed said, hey, we're on it and we're going to raise interest rates, I don't need an inflation hedge anymore. So if you start to see inflation picking up, and then I would expect Bitcoin to pick up as your hedge, just like I would expect gold. And then we've got this period of time where the Fed's behind the curve and all that, and that's your bull market.
So let me ask you, I'm playing devil's advocate because I am long Bitcoin. That's what I do often. So the use case part of Bitcoin never really came to be. And do you dismiss that it won't ever come to be?
No.
I mean, people don't use it to pay for, the idea that, people that it would be on companies' balance sheets, for example, and people would use it to pay for all kinds of things. That hasn't happened.
That's because people want to spend their filthy fiat and they keep their good money. But the truth is that it has.
That was great, actually. They spend their filthy fiat and they want to keep their money. So again, Bitcoin flight to quality. You want to keep that as like a savings. That's what Kaspa and those coins that are made to be like money, like quick transactions, like use those kind of coins to spend back and forth. And that's the vision that I see with Kaspa becoming, as it's rising in the ranks, how it's like, it's just so quick and easy to use. Like Bitcoin, I ain't going to spend it down the street at Starbucks. I mean, I don't go to Starbucks anyways, but you know what I mean? Just in general, I would not going to spend it on anything just willy nilly for no reason. I'd rather use a quicker method. I mean, I don't want to stand at the counter for an hour. So that's kind of like half the reason, but the other half is, a flight to quality. You want to keep your money safe, and it's going to appreciate over the years, unlike everything else. I mean, at least my opinion, not financial advice, is kind of the way I look at it.
Hasn't happened yet because it hasn't had that adoption yet. We're still early in this, but that's why I think Argentina is kind of really interesting. Earlier, we saw El Salvador switch to kind of a Bitcoin standard, if you will. If Argentina picks that up, they're a bellwether in South America. They could be that bellwether for the global South. And that really could pick it up. That's what we need, and I would agree with you. It would be great if we could have that. The rally's been going just on an investment thesis, but if we actually used it in countries like Argentina, I think that would really help.
Is there proof that the reason why people are not more allocated to Bitcoin is that there is no Bitcoin ETF. When there are Bitcoin futures, there's Bitcoin ETFs, ETNs, I should say, ETPs built on futures, other products basically. How do we know that there's going to be incremental money going into Bitcoin because of Bitcoin ETF as opposed to money being reallocated within Bitcoin?
Yeah. So
nobody knows anything in crypto. That's all you should say. And I don't want to talk about that because Gary Gensler is going to say it's a security.
It's a great question. Most of the products that are out there now are difficult for a registered investment advisor to buy or aren't approved by compliance, where an ETF is a more traditional product. If that, I think, will help.
Oh, geez. That was a quick cutoff. Yeah, that's, I mean, dude, honestly, you can't, like, the way she said that was pretty bad, actually. There's no guarantee that money's ever going to flow into anything. It's just a very good chance that it is going to flow in with these ETFs. As you guys know, it's going to be just simple for your grandmother, your parents, like people that are older that aren't into like self-custodying Bitcoin or like trying to learn about this stuff. They want to put it in their portfolio. It's easier for them to go to BlackRock and do such things, you know? All right, crypto company led by former NYSE president acquires new outlet CoinDesk. So somebody purchased CoinDesk, and that's yeah, they ended up selling, but I guess it's still going to be named CoinDesk, and it's just a subsidiary of whatever now. And then also they actually get into talking about some scam stuff, so I do want you guys to hear that because I personally know somebody that was scammed with one of these pig butcher scams. Kind of sucks, but is what it is. At me in the chat if you guys have any questions.
Today, Bullish, the crypto company run by a former NYSE president, buys CoinDesk. MasterCard partners with an AI company to track down crypto fraud, and Chris Janzuski of blockchain intelligence company TRM Labs breaks down which crypto crimes were most popular in 2023.
Mr. 473 Crypto, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He said, thanks for that needed tip with a number one. And that's it says, let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Kate Rooney. Digital currency prices rising to start this week, with Bitcoin jumping back above $37,000 by noon Eastern. It was around the $35,000 level on Friday. Ether was at $1,900 at the end of last week, but now it is back above $2,000. And the World token, the cryptocurrency issued by the Sam Altman-backed identity platform WorldCoin, swung wildly all weekend after Altman was ousted from his CEO role at OpenAI. This morning, WorldCoin traded at $2.31, down around 5.5% from the day before, according to data from CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with WorldCoin actually now that he's gone. Is he still running it? Like, how does that work? Does anybody know? Let me know in the chat. And again, thank you very much, Mr. 473 Crypto.
Some of the top stories: a crypto company run by the former New York Stock Exchange president Tom Farley just bought CoinDesk. Bullish took to X this morning to announce it acquired the crypto-focused news outlet from Digital Currency Group, or DCG as it's also known. Bullish noted that CoinDesk will operate as an independent subsidiary and retain editorial independence. Bullish added that its plans to invest in CoinDesk's global expansion and the growth of the company. In a statement, Farley, who is now the CEO of Bullish, wrote, quote, with its acclaimed editorial coverage, premier events, and market-leading data and indices, CoinDesk continues to shape the global crypto and blockchain ecosystem. He added that Bullish will immediately inject capital into several of CoinDesk's growth initiatives, which will help the launch of new services, events, and products. Wall Street Journal.
I wonder if they end up getting rid of that guy that's on CoinDesk. It always looks like he's, getting off a bender in the morning when he does videos.
Reported that Bullish bought 100% of CoinDesk in an all-cash deal. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed. DCG, which is the parent company of CoinDesk, reportedly acquired that company in 2016 for $500,000. Now, the Wall Street Journal reported earlier this month that Bullish is also one of three firms trying to buy what's left of FTX. The winner could relaunch the exchange after its expected exit from bankruptcy next year. Next, Fidelity is joining the race for a spot Ether ETF. CBOE Markets filed a proposal with the SEC on Friday, which would launch the Fidelity Ethereum Fund. The move follows BlackRock's own proposed spot Ether ETF, which it put before the SEC in an S1 last week. Both firms are also waiting to hear whether they're going to get the green light for a spot Bitcoin ETF. The SEC just delayed a decision on Franklin Templeton and Global X spot ETF proposals until next year. Last up, MasterCard is turning to AI to tamp down on crypto fraud schemes. The payments giant told CNBC exclusively that it's partnering with FeedZai, a platform that aims to combat money laundering and financial crimes using artificial intelligence. FeedZai will work alongside MasterCard's CipherTrace Armada platform, which helps banks monitor transactions from more than 6,000 crypto exchanges to check for fraud, money laundering, and more. FeedZai says around 40% of scam transactions exit directly from a bank account to a crypto exchange. The company's CEO also told CNBC that the new partnership will, quote, increase fraud detection by protecting unwary customers, but will also detect potential money laundering activity and mule accounts, which are accounts that scammers use to launder stolen funds.
So what I'm getting out of that, that's going to be, man, I mean, I don't know. Does anybody already have this issue with your bank where like you try to deposit money to Coinbase or whatever you guys use for an exchange and like they immediately like stop the transactions? Does anybody get that? Because it happens already. And if with that, I feel like that's going to cause more of that headache. But at the same time, it's going to help save stupid people from losing their money. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean to say that like ignorantly, but just like in general, it's like people that are so naive to like send money to like some random person to trade for you. It's like, if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true, and you're definitely getting scammed. So keep that in mind.
All right, let's stick with fraud for our main story. Crypto World's Jordan Smith spoke with Chris Janzuski, the head of global investigations for TRM Labs. The two discussed the most popular scams for 2023 and how the firm is helping law enforcement crack down on crypto criminals.
Be vigilant, people.
So as we head into the end of the year, I'm calling on you to check in on the state of crypto crime. TRM reported around $9 billion was sent to fraud schemes in 2022. And over Chainalysis, they reported that crypto crime was down about 65% at the mid-year mark this year. But now that we're closing out 2023, what's TRM seeing in terms of how active crypto criminals are? And importantly, are the size of the crimes that do still happen, are those still getting bigger?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate being here today. Yeah, we do still see, I think, an increase in some specific crimes continue to grow, but we're also seeing kind of a grow in the scope of different types of crimes that are being impacted by crypto. And also we're seeing that the growth of crypto from not just focused on Bitcoin, but it branching out to multiple different change. I think the biggest change that we've seen is the shift from Bitcoin centric to Tron and the stablecoin on Tron for a handful of reasons. And we'll anticipate that'll probably continue to grow within the next year.
Yeah, one of the things I'm curious about is I think in 2021 and 2022, so many new investors were getting into crypto that it may have seemed easier to maybe get somebody to buy into a particular scam or fraud. Now that the crypto market's sort of dried up and only the biggest enthusiasts are still sort of in the market and really paying attention, has it become harder to convince people to buy into these scams, or is it getting easier as people are looking for ways to make money?
I think one of the drivers is still just that fear of missing out, that FOMO. There are the real stories of people that were early adopters of Bitcoin and just became millionaires not soon after. And so when this
very, very true, FOMO. I mean, it's happening right now. So 3 Mil actually asked about Kaspa, right? So Kaspa, yeah, it's, you know, you get that. Let me see what he actually said. He said, if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. Then what about Kaspa? So Kaspa in general, I've seen the utility of it firsthand, like used it the other night, and not to mention like just listening to the devs, seeing the sentiment in the market, understanding what it's about. There's a lot more than just like a normal coin to Kaspa than there is with other just shit coins, right? So I'm taking a gamble. Yes, it's always a gamble. Any altcoin is going to be a gamble, but at the same time, the speed is like the biggest thing. When I used it to swap, like I said, I swapped Flux, took 3 hours. There's nothing against Flux, just in general. Just swapping it, right? Took 3 hours. Kaspa took 5 minutes. It was incredibly fast. I honestly can't even explain it. So it's just, I mean, I can see the utility. It's worth it to me. So there's a difference between like a calculated risk and just like risking, you know, money for, you know, the gamble or the fun of it, right? So that's just my take on it.
This new coin comes out, this new token. We've seen it time and time again. People kind of like, yeah, I know, maybe I shouldn't, but just what if it is? What if, this few $1,000s or whatever turns into just a high rate of return? And unfortunately, the kind of growth in pig butchering has really fueled the scam market. So maybe it's somebody that like,
And this is a scam, the pig butcher. That's what you guys need to pay attention to and understand, especially if you guys, this might relate to somebody so it might be a good idea just to share it with them and, maybe they can listen to it.
Necessarily look and seek out cryptocurrency as an investment, but they were approached unsolicited, kind of got in this relationship, put a little bit of money in. They saw these kind of fake returns and thought like, wow, I'm getting 100% return for a very short period of time. Maybe I should just dump in more money. And unfortunately, it just keeps going. So then they think they have this money. They want to try and get it out. We see the perpetrators say, yeah, you can get it out. You just need to pay the taxes up front. And so then they may like borrow money against something else and try.
Which is like the most foolish thing ever. So like I had this happen personally to somebody. I don't want to like out them, but just in general, right? Met somebody online. It was, through like some dating thing, right? But never met in person. Okay. Just chatting back and forth for like months. And then all of a sudden, that person or this girl, this fake girl starts, talking to him about what she's into. And it just happened to be trading crypto, right? And then guess what? He's donating or putting money into, Kraken and then sending it to some bullshit fake exchange where the funds were, just extremely growing. They were exponentially growing, right? And it was getting to a point where I'm like, dude, that doesn't make any sense when he was explaining it to me, because clearly he caught on and he called me and asked the question. I'm like, why didn't you just ask me from the beginning? I would have told you that this was a scam. So, man, it could happen to literally anybody. Just be wary, guys, and just, make sure your friends and family know about this kind of shit.
As a last-ditch effort to pay the taxes to get back those false returns. And we see that growing over and over again, which is really unfortunate because, this is impacting real people's lives.
Yeah, we've seen a bunch of high-profile fraud cases this year, and you mentioned pig butchering. TRM actually helped the DOJ stop a $112 million crypto scam focused on pig butchering. Can you first explain what pig butchering is, what that entails for people who are unfamiliar, and also talk to me about what the dialogue is like with law enforcement, and are they becoming more savvy in dealing with these crimes as you help them?
Yeah. Pig butchering is a pretty unique name, and it goes to kind of the thought process of that if you were raising pigs, you wouldn't butcher them very early in their life. You would kind of fatten them up and go for the long haul and get the most return that you can out of them. And that's kind of the approach they take in these scams. They approach people, and maybe right up front, they don't ask for money. But then as they build...
This is what happened. Right up front, they didn't ask for money, and they actually, it was like they lead you on, and then they just happened to mention it. And then you ask the question, and then now they're not the one asking you for money, and they're like, oh, I'll teach you, but I don't teach everybody. Like, it's messed up.
Trust, build this relationship, and then, oh, by the way, I'm invested in this, whatever, or I can get you a return, but because we're friends, I'll get you in. I don't normally get everybody else in. And then kind of get the most out of them that they can. The downside for these cases is that it impacts so many people, and they can become pretty complex pretty quickly. So at TRM Labs, what we try to do is help our law enforcement partners unpack that complexity. So it might be somebody in the impact of that local law enforcement is investigating, and maybe they lost $200,000, which is substantial, but in the grand scheme of all the massive scams that are going on is maybe not that substantial. But very quickly, we'll see that often it touches on other victims across the globe who are losing other substantial amounts of money. And then we see that what was maybe a $200,000 scam quickly becomes a multi-million-dollar scam, like we saw with the Department of Justice and their seizure for over $100 million. I think law enforcement is very much aware of the problem. You've seen agencies like FBI, Secret Service really focused on trying to make an impact in this threat. We see the REACT task force out of California, backed by Aaron West, that's focused from a state and local approach to try and help victims. And I think what the encouraging thing is that the leaders of these agencies see this as like a long-term investment. And so they're investing in working with companies like TRM, trying to get the public-private partnerships to try and see if we can work on these threats together. But I think another thing that's inspiring too is that U.S. law enforcement is also looking to build up partners around the world. saw recently that like Secret Service was in Ukraine, IRS as well, trying to build up foreign law enforcement so they can also try and combat this threat together. I think another thing that's unique about crypto that makes it better to try and tackle these threats is that websites like Chain Abuse, where normal people like you and I can go and submit our stories and hopefully prevent other people from investing and losing out, but also law enforcement can take that information to build up their case, identify more victims that might be outside their jurisdiction that they originally were not aware of, and try and put together these bigger cases that can hopefully result in hundreds of millions of dollars of seizures like the DOJ recently did.
Turning ahead to 2024, we're starting to see more activity in the crypto market thanks to excitement for ETFs or hopes that the worst of the crypto winter is sort of behind us. Investor interest is perhaps picking up for next year. So knowing that, is TRM expecting crime to pick back up in 2024, or what are the trends that you're watching right now?
Yeah, it's hard to say, kind of predict, but I think that one thing we found is that criminals, illicit actors, they can be pretty resourceful and they can adapt over time. We've seen it recently with like Hamas with their fundraising campaign, where initially they had an account at a US-based exchange and they pivoted to an unhosted address. And then just recently this year, they said they were no longer going to accept Bitcoin because they thought it was too dangerous for their donors. Does that mean that they would stop soliciting for donations? Probably not, no.
That's crazy. Real quick, Mr. Flying High, appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you very much. Have a good day at work, buddy.
It's interesting to kind of watch this flow. So we do expect it to kind of stick around. We do see more and more kind of like crimes touching on it, such as like kidnappings or potential other violent crimes. But again, I think that the silver lining is, if not for a public trail to follow, that a lot of these crimes might otherwise go without some type of resolution.
All right, that's it.
All right, shout out to Crypto World for that. Let's see. One last thing I want to listen to is the Altcoin Daily video. This man predicted everything what comes next. This is Raul Paul talking about some stuff on Real Vision, just about crypto and sentiment and all that in the market. So let's see what they got to say. Again, if you guys have any questions, at me in the chat. And those of you that actually are just new here, we do this every single day. This is just me going over what I would normally do by myself with you guys. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. We talk about whatever, look up whatever, and we'll go from there. Let's do it.
This is the biggest opportunity we've ever been given. I've said that all the way from 2020 onwards, and in fact, I said it all the way back in 2012.
This man may have just predicted everything.
Everybody thought I was a total moron, which is fair. I can be a total moron, but it's been quite right. It's been a bloody good call, if I'm honest.
That was
and
great.
Looking forward,
everybody thinks I was a total moron. He's like, that's fair. I could be a total moron.
If you're thinking about investing in cryptocurrency,
I've tried really, really hard to make sure that everybody's set up for this cycle. I've tried to communicate it. I've gone out a lot to say, don't fuck this up. Buy and hold, don't use leverage, use cold storage, do the right thing, don't get too speculative, don't FOMO, just don't fuck this up. This is the biggest opportunity we've ever been given. I've said that all the way from 2020 onwards, and in fact, I said it all the way back in 2012. It's the biggest macro trade of all time. Don't fuck this up.
And if you have a friend who doesn't quite understand the opportunity we have in crypto this year, send him or her this.
And if you're not a crypto person, technology is one of the biggest opportunities we've ever been given, the exponential age. Again, don't fuck this up. Just be careful.
It's like the .com bubble, man. Like, that was huge for a lot of people. This is going to be huge for a lot of people.
Just buy, hold, have a long-term time horizon, and learn how to take pain. And when there is pain...
That's actually the best thing I've ever heard. Learn how to take pain. Because the market is full of it when you're in crypto. But you got to live with it. You got to just don't panic. Panicking is the worst thing you could do.
You buy more. Unless something changes the thesis that suddenly we're all going to turn to Neanderthals and nobody's going to use technology ever again, it is going up. It's as simple as that.
It's true.
And unless something changes that we're not breaking the financial system and that the internet has disappeared, we will go to blockchain technology. It's as simple as that. That's all you need to know. Everything else is just fucking noise.
But Austin.
But that doesn't mean that there's not going to be bad actors in the space, right? So you guys still got to be wary. Like, Bitcoin, tried and true. Other shit coins, you know, calculated risk. That's like the biggest thing you gotta pay attention to. Like for me, Kaspa is a calculated risk. Like I'll take the risk on it because I see the utility. But these other coins, like, you know, again, I love my Dogecoin, but Dogecoin, it's a freaking meme. It's fake, right? It was built off of nothing. Until it gets a utility, it's just built off of hype and stupid people. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. Like that's what it is. You know, it's built off of shit. Same thing with that freaking Pepe token, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's just take calculated risks and just only invest into, like, you know, the top coins that have been around for a while that actually have proved themselves. Litecoin, you know, Bitcoin, you know, Ethereum. Everything runs on Ethereum. I know you guys don't like it, but it's true. Like so much stuff runs on Ethereum. It's just like, you know, it's inevitable. It's going to go up.
What about the upcoming recession? Aren't we in a bear market?
It's still amazing to me how confused everybody has been by this current macro episode. There are people still begging and praying for their bear market.
By the way, this is global macro investor Raoul Pal. He's an investing expert who was a guest on our channel around 2 months ago. It is.
I personally like Raoul Pal. The things he says is actually pretty good. But yes, I have 100 million SHIB, and that is to make money off of, again, I hate to say it, stupid people. Because when the market pumps and those little shit coins pump, the exponential gains are in those meme coins. Unfortunately, it's true, but it's just, I do think they're going to have a major run up at some point.
Linked down below. It's about to cross 200,000 views. Raoul sends his updated message to crypto investors, talking about how the bear market has already happened.
Praying for their bear market, which obviously happened in 2022. I just don't get why people can't see that it was priced in back then. What we had in 2022 was the rate cycle, inflation, consumer discretionary spending got nuked, real wages got nuked, everybody got nuked, and all assets went down. And long duration assets, crypto technology, went down the most. The growthy end of technology was down 70-odd%, crypto was down 70 to 80%, and it was a bloodbath. That perfectly coincided with the forward-looking indicators of liquidity and financial conditions index, which suggested the same thing. Now, these are forward-looking, and they suggested that in 2023, we will see that economic weakness. Now, it's probably a quarter or two later than expected, but I'm thinking we will flirt or be in recession this quarter and next quarter. And I've been saying that for quite a while now, but it matters not. It doesn't matter unless you're trading the Russell 2000 or the old economy or oil or copper. Those things trade present day economic conditions. So the ISM, which is right near its lows, starting to try and turn. It's at lows that it's consistent with a mild recession. So do we get the recession? Do we not? Do we get to 0% GDP growth? Doesn't matter. It was all priced into the stuff I care about last year.
So as markets collapsed back in 2022.
So real quick, I'll share it with you guys. Let me just screenshot this for a second. If that will screenshot, or it clearly won't. Damn it. All right, you know what? At the recap, I'm gonna screenshot and show you guys my portfolio. I got like a pie chart, right, where you can see kind of how I gauge my stuff, right? I'll show that after this video.
Especially crypto, especially Bitcoin. This was the ultimate buying opportunity.
So we had a gift of an opportunity when we saw that the market had priced in a full recession. NASDAQ had priced in an ISM of 38 and it only got down to 46. So it was really overpricing a recession. Crypto did something similar. So as liquidity turned, I started recommending buying markets. It was first ETH in June. That was the first one to bottom of 2022. And then October, November, December, crypto and technology stocks. And basically I've been long and adding ever since in all of that. Everybody thought I was a total moron, which is fair. I can be a total moron, but it's been quite right. It's been a bloody good call, if I'm honest.
And by the way, if you subscribe to
like his accent just makes it so much better.
Bitcoin Daily, you were in the know. We continue to bring experts on. 9 months ago, we brought Raoul. He spoke about crypto. He spoke about Ethereum as well as Solana.
I don't have a huge bet in Solana, but I have a bet.
That was right around here. Did you pay attention?
Lo and behold, where we are today, NASDAQ's up almost 50%. The exponential age technology basket, when I look at it, is up 63%. And crypto has gone bananas. Bitcoin's up 119. ETH's up 63 and Solana's up 500%. So pretty good. And exactly in line what I've been imagining, which is macro spring. Macro spring and crypto spring are the same thing because macro is crypto. I've explained all the way through. These are not different things. And there's a bunch of old macro people who are like, oh, I don't like that bloody crypto stuff. It's nothing to do with macro. It's driven by exactly the same cycles. It's completely in line.
And that brings us to today. Now that Bitcoin is already up over 100%, crypto has had a really good year. What's next? Is it too late to invest in cryptocurrency? Or do I still have an opportunity?
Fed net liquidity is starting to rise. I think it'll rise again today. So Fed net liquidity is up 10% this year, which is one of the reasons the markets are up. We're starting to see the Chinese looking at stimulating. We're seeing others looking to stimulate as well. So again, 2024, all the year of stimulant. So it'll push Sol up, and Sol will go up more than Bitcoin, etc. Okay.
And breaking news as of this morning, the United States officially seeks $4 billion from Binance to end their criminal case, being reported out of Bloomberg. Some of you don't know yet that my brother and I, Altcoin Daily, are recent correspondents on the street crypto. Here's a piece of me reporting breaking news today that affects all of cryptocurrency. The United States Department of Justice, this is being reported out of Bloomberg, is officially seeking $4 billion to settle their criminal investigations against Binance. And just for the folks at home, Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world by daily trading volume. Binance is the mecca. It's been the biggest for years. And for about the last 12 months, there's been a dark cloud legally hanging over them as they were being investigated by the United States government for money laundering, bank fraud, sanctions, law violations. People were fearing, is Binance the next FTX? Is Binance about to collapse like FTX did? That was the fear. And the news today is that a settlement could happen as early as this month if CZ and Binance are willing to pay $4 billion. Do they have the money? Yeah, they have a lot of money. That is chump change, in my opinion, for a cryptocurrency exchange. Perfect. Like them. And let's just look at the data. Now, I will link the full article down below in the video description. I really encourage you, support me, check the article out. We drop 1 to 2 per week for the street. Of course, we're going daily on Altcoin Daily, YouTube.
You know what? We're going to have to allow him to use that because I do rip off his videos every single day. Well, with that being said, let's recap this stuff. You guys are awesome. Shout out to Altcoin Daily for that video. Again, we will leave a link to that down in the description below. All right, let me show you guys. So like again, calculated risk, right? I always tend to, let me screenshot this. It's gonna freeze my computer when I do this every single time. All right, so this is my chart. Not gonna show you guys any like money stuff, but I want that full screen. Hold on. All right, clearly I can't full screen it, so you guys can like zoom in on this, I guess. But let's do it. So right here, right, we're looking at, I'm gonna go to this real quick and then that. All right, so I am more or less almost 50% in BTC. Why can't I zoom this in? Does anybody know why this won't, like, why won't it zoom in? Like, can't zoom in, like it just scrolls up and down. That's so stupid. Why can't I zoom this in? Damn it. Hold on, let me see something. Hold on. I could do this. I could do this. I'm just trying not to like, ugh. All right, I don't want to move this, but looking at this, right? So this is pretty much my portfolio. I try to always stay more or less 50% in Bitcoin, and then everything else shitcoins. You know what I mean? Like pretty much. I mean, except for Ethereum, right? I keep a lot of Ethereum as well. But Kaspa, I took a big leap on, or a big, you know, bet on. I think it's going to do well. I really do personally think it's going to do well. After I've seen it work, after I know what's behind it, this is what I see. Like, this is what I like. It's, I don't know, whatever. But the Bitcoin, Ethereum, been holding for quite some time. Kaspa, just getting in, kind of, whatever. But this is like, by the way, on CoinGecko, you can actually make this little pie chart, and it's like not exact, but it's pretty much really close, right? Like I just kind of punched in the numbers that I thought, or I looked through my wallets, kind of, you know, put in what I had and whatnot, and Yeah, it just kind of does this little pie chart for you. It's kind of neat. So I got like 100 million Shiba, right? It's like 1%. I got friggin' Raven coin. Like, look, it doesn't even say, like, none of this is like even just a 0%. Raven coin, Zilliqa. Like, there's just a bunch of little shit coins. 1% Dogecoin, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin. Like, it's just, you know, always calculated risk. That's the biggest thing I can advocate on. Half BTC, and then anything else you guys want to do. That would be my personal opinion. I need to get this back up to 50%, but as of right now, it's not too bad. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about that. That's just kind of where I'm at. And I did just realize I didn't change that other ticker. Anyways, this is the end of it. So let me see if you guys have any questions in the chat. Does your portfolio look the same? Is that what you guys are thinking? Closely to having, you know, 50% dominance on BTC and then everything else is whatever? Or like, what do you guys do? I would like to know personally. Let's see. Little Time Mining, dude. Shout out for the 199 super chat. Appreciate it. He said gold 1999 2K gold fever, dude. Appreciate you. Is it really a 2K? That's crazy. That's crazy. I am leaving. They are eating. Miss Pocket Change. Appreciate you. No worries. I'll be up in a second. Have a good day at work. Let's see. I don't see Neox. Oh shit, I forgot to put Neox in there. Damn it. I did. Yeah, well, I made it last night because I saw DJ drawing this like fucking, you know, Sunday cartoon in like the newspaper pie chart, some bullshit, worst artistic skills I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, why didn't he just go to CoinGecko and just make his own chart? So I did it. So I missed a bunch of shit coins. I know I did. Like I have a million Nexa. I have a whole bunch of random coins. I really do, like just stupid core wallets. And that's, you know what, that's the main reason I'm getting rid of my CPU mining rigs. I'm just so sick of collecting all of these shit coins. Like, yes, maybe one day a bunch of them will pop, but at the same time, the amount of electricity I'm spending to get these shit coins, I'd rather just buy them. That's just me personally. Feet drawing. Feet drawing. Yeah, and you know what, that's some bullshit that DJ didn't even consider me for the consistency. God damn it, I'm live every single day. The worst friend, by the way. Worst friend. And he is quiet as shit in person. I don't care what he says. He's quiet as shit. He's loud as F behind the camera. He's quiet as shit in person. RPM bathwater shares. Yes, you can get that. You'd make some money. Probably could. Hot tub stream with RPM. All right. Love you guys. I gotta get back to daddy duty. Appreciate you all for watching, guys. I'll be back tomorrow between 8 and 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I apologize. Been running a little behind lately just because I've been doing a bunch of shit and going to bed too late. All right, Curtis, real quick. Does anyone know when the last Flux parallel asset is being distributed? I don't. Well, if you guys check Kaspa hash rate, by the way, it is.
This hash rate's going bonkers.
In case you're wondering. But Max was hating last night on his stream. Go check that out. You guys, hopefully y'all have a good day. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning between 8 and 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Peace out.